Well, hello, it's October 10th, 2023, and this is the HU-16 at the Museum of Aviation at Robins Air Force Base, Georgia. One I've been working on now for about 10 years, part-time. Built in about 52, but we're pretty much done with it now. We're pretty well to the end. I've done videos of this before and different components, but this is going to be a walk around just to look at everything that's installed. We have installed all of the fabric flight control surfaces. Here's the aileron on the right-hand wing, all installed. We'll sweep back around to the back of the airplane. If you recall, we repaired the rudder, and up there at the top is an antenna we installed, and we repaired that fiberglass top up there. You can see the gray repair, but more than that, we have installed the elevators. Here's the right-hand elevator installed, and all the panels that close off that connection. We walk around here, back, there's the trailing wire antenna right there. A little dark back here as usual, but here's the left-hand elevator installed. All that works. Again, all the panels reinstalled. We'll go into the airplane here in a minute. But we also installed, and I had posted a video of time-lapse of us installing the left-hand aileron. It's a little bit of a challenge because it has a not only an anti-servo tab to help the pilot move the surface there, that big long skinny thing, but just outboard of that is the electrical servo tab, so a little bit more connection here. But we also have dropped the fuel tanks and cleaned them up. Here they are in the shadows, basically waiting the final sanding and painting. The museum is going to be contacting the painters that they use, they contract with, to get them to give them a quote on painting the airplane and where it's going to be done, either outside or here in the hangar. So let's go into the airplane. A little quick walk through. It's always a little bit dark in here. You can see the two 6-man life rafts that are basically duffel bags. You can't get your hands on these 1950s, 60s life raft anymore. So we're simulating them with duffel bags here in the back that have been filled. One of the other things we've done, go back outside a second, we installed the upper cargo hatch, which you can kind of see the outline of right there. So that's been off for a long time, but we've installed that. Let me see if I can turn the lights on in here. We've got DC, well, LED lights with DC. I'm not sure that helped at all. But we've got this floor matting in here to try to keep the floor a little bit cleaner. I have in the last few weeks installed the curtains, which you see here. And we had brand new curtains made by a guy down in Savannah for us. Also, he made brand new parachute holders, so we got curtains and parachute holders down along the way here. There's the walk around oxygen bottle, another set of curtains, and then here is a parachute holder with an actual parachute. That's the real McCoy there. One of the things we lack is we don't have simulated JATO bottles, which would go here and down there, and again also on the opposite side. We don't have those. Got to hunt for something that's going to work. Maybe a beer pony keg. We don't know yet. Trying to hunt those down here. But again, curtains and parachute holders all the way down, all the way to the back. Everything's in the back. You know, we've got the rear hatch on, of course, and in here is the lavatory, honey bucket, relief tube on the wall there, and the sink with a gravity feed water tank and the Z-fold paper towels. And we even got, hiding in the dark black there, a toilet paper holder way in the back. Let's see if we can get back in here for all you airplane nuts. Is the accessory area with the real drive there for the trailing wire antenna, a rescue ramp that straps up in there. These over here are maintenance stands for the engines. You can see there's a comm cord and some other avionics back here, and along with trim system for the rudder, which is the only boosted control surface, although that uses more than just human power to make it move. So we don't go back in here too often, but it's all pretty well completed. Go back out. And then over here, of course, we've got the APU compartment, the auxiliary power unit, which is a gasoline driven generator, and you can see APU control panel. It's pretty well done back here. Here's the sea anchor, which is a large sea anchor. This is for dipping the tanks, if you will, to check for water, the fuel tanks. And then over here, strapped to the wall, are the two JADO racks that would normally fit on the outside of the aircraft to put the JADO bottles on. So that's all complete. Going back up this way, see that we've put the hatch in. Try to get down here. You can see the hatch. That's where the navigator would put his sextants to take readings of the sun and all. Here you can see the entry ladder that we've put up there, fire crash axe, all of that. It's all painted, all done. Actually, it's been sitting around for about 6 or 7 years waiting to be installed, so it's finally installed. Another thing that's new that we've put in is the Gibson Girl emergency radio, which we have a bag for it. This is where it mounts. You see the strap, that was also made by that fellow down in Savannah for us. So it's all full. There's no radio in there, it's just full of foam, but that's where the emergency radio would go. And you can see there's a couple of straps or metal brackets here where you would attach it to a parachute to throw it out the airplane. Seat next to it is the nurse's station. This is where the drinking water tank goes. We don't have a drinking water tank. You see where the little paper cup holder is. Navigator station. We saw a little fan to try to keep things air moving in here. This is the bailout stand that would go by the aft door back there to raise it up to make it a little bit easier for the parachuting people and the PJ, the pararescue man, to jump out of the airplane. We've got our litter installed. I think I've shown you that before, but again, I put in, by looking in the TO, there's curtains up here also, not for the navigator, but for the passengers. So just put in this morning the final set of curtains that were made by that fellow down in Savannah for us. So here's the navigator's station, his seat, drift meter, all his. This is a Loran navigation radio. It's got a number of things. We've even got Ken brought in his navigator's plotter there, which we need to get some maps to put on the table, and we'll clear this off. But we have also some, for you history buffs, some 1970s era headphones there. And of course we've got the 2 radar scopes, radar control. We still don't have any real proper rubber pieces to go, eyepieces for this, or for the Loran. Not sure where that is. I redid the vinyl sort of here on the door because it was all tore up. And then of course I've shown you the cockpit before, all those radios in the rack, the radio operator station with this Morse code keyboard. We've put in the charts up there, the chart holders that have the stall speed and engine operating limits on both sides. And of course we've got the blue Grumman yoke centers there just to kind of make it look pretty sexy, and the Grumman highlighted on the rudder pedals. So those of you who followed this for a while, you know there's been quite a big transformation on this airplane over the last 10 years, but we're basically now, for all intents and purposes, done. There's very, very little to do. Like I said, just try to find some JATO bottles to simulate that. By the way, here's the hot water maker, so you can make coffee in flight, and here's the plug for hooking up the electrical oven, the hot oven receptacle. We don't have a hot oven. And another parachute holder down there. So anyway, by the way, this is a real McCoy here, a real first aid kit full of all the Air Force issued first aid gear. So we don't have a Very pistol that goes up in the cockpit, and that, my friends, is about it. So next thing would be a big new paint job. I don't know when that'll happen, but when it does, I'll let you know.